So I want to answer a question I got about Packers GM Brian Gutekunst in the past couple of days. Here we have from TJ who says, when does Gute's seat get hot? Gute fan. So I want to take this time to give my honest thoughts on Brian Gutekunst. And I honestly think, just from looking at my comments, I feel like Brian Gutekunst takes too much heat overall based on the job he's done since becoming the Packers GM in 2018. And I really do believe that he is one of the better GMs in the NFL. I'd say he's a top 5 GM, at worst, top 10 GM, in my opinion. And I think that at the end of the day, you are judged as a team on Super Bowls because, at the end of the day, if you win an NFC championship and lose in a Super Bowl, teams are still frustrated. And at the end, only one team wins. And so I understand that at this point, since Gutekunst took over in 2018, the Packers have not won a Super Bowl. But I don't think that he has necessarily been the reason the Packers have not won Super Bowls. I think that they were put in good spots multiple times. They go to the NFC Championship 2019 and 2020. I think they had a chance there. And unfortunately, they got close, but were not able to get the job done. But when you look at the most wins since 2018, the Packers are 4th in the NFL, with 4th most wins in the NFL since Brian Gutekunst took over as GM, 73-42. And of course, Matt LaFleur came in as coach. Aaron Rodgers was there for a few years. Now we're here with Jordan Love. And through that whole time, the Packers have been one of the most consistent teams in the NFL, just in overall wins, which I think, shows you how good Brian Gutekunst has been at building this roster, because you don't have the 4th most wins in the NFL if your GM has no idea what he's doing and is consistently making poor decisions. And I think that there shows you that Brian Gutekunst, while he's not perfect, he doesn't make completely, unproblematic decisions at all times. But for the most part, his decisions have led to the Packers being one of the best teams in the NFL consistently. The Packers have made the playoffs 5 of 7 years since Brian Gutekunst took over as GM. And I think one big thing too, the transition from Rodgers to Jordan Love went pretty smoothly. And if I would have told you before Rodgers left, going into Jordan Love's first year, that in the first 2 years without Rodgers, the Packers would have made the playoffs both years, you'd say, okay, it's a pretty good transition from one of the best, if not, well, in my mind, the most talented quarterback of all time in Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. So Brian Gutekunst has been a big part of this. I think that his decision to draft Jordan Love is what allowed the Packers to so easily move from Rodgers to Love. He made some tough decisions by trading Rodgers, trading Devontae, and it's led to the Packers still being one of the best teams in the NFL. And so that's why I think that Brian Gutekunst deserves a ton of credit for consistently building winning rosters. He's a massive part of the Packers' success. And so that's why I feel like, Gutekunst's seat should not, his seat should not be hot whatsoever. Like, that's not even in my mind, and to be completely honest. For his seat to actually get hot, I think the Packers would have to take a complete, downward trajectory, which I don't see happening with Jordan Love as your quarterback, because I think he's right now around the 10th best quarterback in the league. He definitely has the potential to be top 5. And so with Jordan Love at the helm and the decision-making from the Packers front office, I think this team will still consistently be, a playoff team for the foreseeable future. So I see no reason why Brian Gutekunst should have, his seat should be hot at this point. And I think you'd have to miss the playoffs multiple times in a row to even ask that question. Now, I guess if you start losing, in the first round of the playoffs every single year, maybe you question some things. But I feel like Gutekunst would be the last one to go. I feel like I feel like the team would probably move on from Matt LaFleur before they moved on from Brian Gutekunst if they really started to go into started struggling a ton, which I don't see happening. So it would take a lot to, to make this team really go south, I think, where they sort of stand right now. So as you can tell, I'm a big Brian Gutekunst fan. I think that he's done a great job consistently. And so that's sort of my thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. If you disagree, tell me why. If you agree, let me know why you think that as well. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.